You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I want to play this video for y'all. The Daily Show put this video together. I think this is the absolute perfect example of what happens when you're stuck on stupid and you watch Fox News. See, that's the reason they don't call me, because you'll never hear me saying this ignorant stuff. Watch this. Let's see here. All right, trying to get the video to play, because this is, I saw this video, and when I say I hollered laughing, if y'all having the control room, go ahead and play it. Looks like we're having an issue playing it out here. This, let's see, what the video lays out is, on Fox News, they were condemning New York Governor Mario Cuomo, trashing California Governor Newsom. Oh my goodness, they were saying how flat out awful they were and how they were leading, and then they started praising all of the people who are the governors of Florida and Texas, and how they're doing things right and how they're opening up their states and how things are just fantastic. Right. Watch this.
And guess what? Now it's time for all the states to follow. Florida got it right. Texas got it right. And guess what? Now it's time for all the states to follow their lead.
Governor DeSantis now looks like a genius.
Ron DeSantis of Florida, the governor, doing a fantastic job in Florida.
Governor, those dire predictions have not come true.
They look to Florida and they look at Texas that have reopened, and it hasn't led to a massive second wave.
In a very real sense, Florida is leading the way.
It's been 2 months, and Florida has figured out how to manage this pretty effectively.
Governor DeSantis, who's doing a phenomenal job. The state of Florida, which happens to be my great home state.
I can't get to Florida or Texas fast enough, and I think there's plenty of people thinking the exact same way.
How much longer are you going to keep me out of your state? I would like to go visit. When am I allowed back in?
We're glad you're opening up. We're ready to have some sunshine and get out of the house.
It's great to be in Florida, and I'm going to be back here in a week.
And I've always wanted to move to Texas. Now I think I have to.
Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, he knows what he's doing. He's a great governor.
Governor Greg Abbott, we can learn a lot from you and a lot from Governor DeSantis, but we can also learn a lot from Governor Cuomo and Governor Murphy what not to do, because they did the opposite of what you guys did.
Texas, Florida gave us clues. Take the success clues.
The successes of Florida, Texas, the failures of New York, New Jersey.
We got to get the whole country open like Tennessee and Texas and Florida.
He's got it in great shape. Texas, Florida's doing very well.
How did you do it? Because we need to learn as we reopen. Great job down there.
Keep up the great work.
You did a great job. You saved a lot of lives, and there's a lot to learn from your success.
Ha! Oh my God, that is an absolutely hilarious segment. Joining me right now is Sean Shaw. First of all, he is a former Florida House representative. He is the founder of People Over Profits. Sean, what's a trip there watching that video? We now know that the cases are exploding in Florida and Texas. As of today, 9,194 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the state's total to 291,629. 132 new deaths announced. Statewide death total is 4,409. Miami, epicenter for the virus. Ron DeSantis even comes out and says, yeah, you know what? We really can't lay the blame on this, on testing. There's something else. All that praise of Fox, all of that praise comes crashing down.
Brother, I don't know what to say. I was watching that video, and I'll tell you, if it wasn't so dire down here in Florida, I'd be laughing. But, you know, the governor preened and pranced and went in front of the media and told them that New York was doing it wrong and he was doing it right.
Hold on. No, chastise. Chastise people.
Well, he then demanded an apology from the media when the numbers didn't immediately go up, and demanded that they apologize to him for picking on him. And now you see that we are almost the worldwide daily epicenter of COVID-19 coronavirus, and it's awful. And that video, damn, brother, that video was right on point, because a lot of us here in Florida, we have memories. And I remember just a month ago, or just 2 months ago, and now we look like fools, and I'm sitting here in my house in Florida scared to leave because we are the worst state in the union.
Oh, and again, on the same day, Memorial Day weekend, when George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis, Texas Governor Greg Abbott opens the state. They sat here and they chastised Judge Eric Moyer, who told this woman who owned the hair salon, look, I won't send you to jail if you apologize. She wouldn't do it. They raised money, and he said, don't you dare send anybody to jail because they won't wear a mask and they won't close up their business. And all these folks running around and defending that nonsense. And now all of a sudden, the governor says just 24 hours ago, we might have to shut down the entire state. Hospital beds have filled up. Hospitals all over the state are showing an explosion in cases. And now he's saying we need to have a mandatory mask wearing publicly. And he ignored the mayors and the county judges. But the folks at Fox just praised
you're talking about
him.
Texas, right?
Right. No. I'm saying it's the same thing.
Because we don't have a mandatory mask order in Florida, nor does he intend to issue one.
Even now?
We going back to school, brother.
Even now?
Even now, the kids are going back to school as scheduled in person, and we do not have a mandatory mask order. So I knew you weren't talking about Florida, because we ain't even doing that.
I mean, this to me shows how idiotic these folks are, and that's the reason why the cases are exploding across the country, because you have these Republican governors who flat out ignore all the medical advice, and they were just so focused on listening to Donald Trump, who is a damn fool, and all these fools who followed him. I kept saying black people on this show. And look, there's some white people who see this show, and they're members of our fan club. I keep saying, don't listen to those fools, because trust me, this thing is going to spike. And now we see it in Florida, Texas, and other states.
It's so unfortunate, and the governor here refuses to admit any kind of mistake. So, he didn't close the beaches in time. He waffled on how to really close restaurants, because let's be honest, 25%, 50% occupancy with social distancing is still a problem if you're trying to avoid this virus. We can't really trust the numbers that are coming out of the nursing homes here in Florida, because there's certainly transparency issues. He doesn't talk to the media really like he should. He doesn't allow certain media outlets to participate in press conferences. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? And so he is doing his best Trump impersonation. I'll tell you, if Trump doesn't win this November, I think our governor's in serious trouble, because he's doing the best imitation he can, and that's very unfortunate.
So what are people doing there? What are they doing, trying? Because, again, you're not getting leadership from the governor.
Right. Well, there's local governments are trying to step in. For example, I live in Hillsborough County in Tampa, and so there's a mandatory local mask order, and there are local rules that are going in place. The Palm Beach County, Broward County, Miami-Dade County school boards have essentially said, we're not sending our kids to full in-person classes as you're trying to schedule them. So there's going to be a clash there, as there should be. You should not have all these problems going on in regular society and sending the kids to in-person school. So there's local leadership that's trying to step into the fray, as it should. The governor has been waffling from the beginning. We were slow to close, fast to open, and look what's happened. And so he sends kind of contradictory orders as well. It's a mess down here, but brother, this is Florida. This is how we do.
Well, but it's not just Florida. It's Florida, it's Mississippi, it's Alabama. I mean, you have all these Mississippi lawmakers refusing to wear masks, and now you got more than 30 who tested positive for coronavirus. They're just walking around, just talking to people, no safe distancing, no mask. And then you got the guy in Florida. Isn't there an official in Florida who absolutely was against masks, and now he's in critical condition with coronavirus?
I think that's us, brother. I don't understand why this has turned political. The CDC, not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, has said you ought to wear masks. That's the way to stop this. That's the way to be respectful. That's the way to be safe. And people don't tread on me. I'm American. I'm free. This just kind of crazy strain of people are just rebelling against it. And, you know, and it's putting the rest of us at risk. And it's just outrageous. Well, that's clearly what you have here. I just think it's amazing. It's amazing. And in fact, you talked about that. Let me go ahead and try to pull it up here. Because, y'all, I just want to show for the audience what happens when you're stuck on stupid. Here is the governor of Florida demanding his apology.
About how Florida has the absolute best data. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical partisan narrative trying to be spun. And part of the reason is that because you got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York. Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. Not only do we have a lower death rate, well, we have way lower deaths generally. We have a lower death rate than the Acela Corridor, D.C., everyone up there. We have a lower death rate than the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. But even in our region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida has the lower death rate. And I was the #1 landing spot from tens of thousands of people leaving the #1 hot zone in the world to come to my state. So we've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption, so they got to try to find a boogeyman. Maybe it's that there are black helicopters circling the Department of Health. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you.
Last question.
I don't even know. I tell you what, though, he talking like a man that got all the spades in his hand back then, wasn't he? And now he'll barely even discuss this, but that's what we're dealing with. That is the man we're dealing with that wants that kind of apology and gives those kind of press conferences, and now we leading the country. That's what we got down here.
Sean Shaw, we certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Ain't that special, Julian? Just, he was wagging his finger. He was indignant. How dare you?
The governor of Florida, as you said, he's a hot monkey fool. And he's been one from the beginning. We've seen the numbers spike after Memorial Day, and they've gone up even more. And he just doesn't want to deal with it. He, as you said, it was a great remark. It's the best Trump imitation that we've seen in a while. But, the sad thing, Roland, is that even California, where Gavin Newsom dotted the I's, crossed the T's, did everything right with London Breed, they closed San Francisco down earlier than just about anybody else. You still are seeing a spike in California. This virus is something that we can't contain. It's containing us because we haven't put the resources into it. 45 loves to brag about American exceptionalism. Well, how is Italy? How are all these other countries with fewer resources than us doing so much better than we are? And how can we contemplate sending young people to school when we haven't sent any resources to these schools so they can actually really socially distance? I've been to classrooms, I speak at a lot of schools, where the classroom is hot full, is completely full, not a room for another kid. So how are you going to manage that? I think they should lease space, if they're going to go back to school, lease spaces at church basements and other places to make sure young people can have social distance. But, you have these folks who just are like, oh, well, it's going to go away. DeSantis is a fool, but then he's not the only fool out there.
Kelly, bottom line is it's hilarious watching this dude wag his finger and be so indignant. And what people don't understand, there is a lag. That took place in May. They say there's a 6 to 8 week lag when somebody contracts it, then all of a sudden shows symptoms, gets sick, has to go to the hospital, dies. It's now July, 14th? This is what, that was around May 25th, something like that.
I just don't understand why this is an issue, to put a cloth over your face and stay 6 feet away from me, at least. It should not be this hard. It also shouldn't be hard to just listen to scientists. Like, we listen to our doctors when they tell us that we have the flu or that we have a cold or that little skin tag, whatever, needs to go somewhere. Like, I just don't understand how this became a liberty issue. I wish that, as Black folk, we had the mentality of something so minor being an infringement upon our liberty, because we actually know what infringing upon our liberties are. But the fact that these people actually think that putting something over your face to save you is infringing upon you, that doesn't make any sense to me. And what's even more scary to me than that is it's July 14th. And things still aren't closed down there and elsewhere. What's going to happen in September? What's going to happen around Christmas when the flu season also starts up? So it's just this ongoing, just baffling to me about how and why people just don't listen. Why and how people just don't wear a mask, social distance. It's not a conspiracy to save your life. And if it is, then what? I don't get it.
Jason, again, it's laughable to again. This video was posted on May 20th. This is July 14th. Almost 8 weeks later. I got to play it again, Jason. Listen to him wag his finger at it. It's 8 weeks later and it hasn't happened. Watch this.
Our data is available. Our data is transparent. In fact, Dr. Birx has talked multiple times about how Florida has the absolute best data. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical partisan narrative trying to be spun. And part of the reason is that because you got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York. Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. Not only do we have a lower death rate, well, we have way lower deaths generally. We have a lower death rate than the Acela corridor, D.C., everyone up there. We have a lower death rate than the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. But even in our region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida has the lower death rate. And I was the #1 landing spot from tens of thousands of people leaving the #1 hot zone in the world to come to my state. So we've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption, so they got to try to find a boogeyman. Maybe it's that there are black helicopters circling the Department of Health. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you.
Last question.
I was the #1 landing spot.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you were.
That is hilarious, how indignant he was with the whole thing. Before I even say anything, let me just say that Pence needs to spend more time in Florida because he looks like he needs some sun. That guy is like...
Little pasty.
Yeah, he was pasty. He looked like chalk. But I'll also say that, Miami-Dade is the epicenter of the virus right now. So all of the things that the right wing was saying, this is going to disappear, warm weather gets rid of it. I don't think it gets much warmer in the United States than Miami-Dade or Arizona, two of the hot spots. So DeSantis and Ducey have failed the people of their states, and not to mention Governor Abbott and many other governors, but those three in particular. And we've seen also people who are just not listening to their governors, like what you found in California with Governor Gavin Newsom, who's actually tried to do some of the right things, but people aren't listening, and that's why you get these spikes. People need to listen to public health professionals like Dr. Fauci. Instead, they want to play politics and attack Dr. Fauci, attack the research, and maybe then our children could go to school, because I can tell you right now, I damn sure want my kids to go to school. Good Lord. I'm so ready for them to get out of my house and go to school. But because people aren't listening, because like Kelly said, they won't put a mask over their face. They say they can't breathe. And let me tell you something. If you can't breathe with a mask on your face, then you probably already have it. or you've got some other breathing issue, because a mask is not that difficult to breathe in. We really need better leadership in these states. I'm really waiting for November when we can get guys like, DeSantis. Well, I don't know if DeSantis is up for re-election. I'm not certain, but probably not. I think he's got 2 more years. But, the Abbotts and the Duceys and all these guys, they've got to, get out. It's, the public health is much more important than the economy.
Well, and again, what you're dealing with the people, like, go to my iPad, watch this here. This is Pence.
But to be very clear, we don't want CDC guidance to be a reason why people don't reopen their schools. We're going to respect whatever decisions are made on campuses like this. But to be very clear,
that's actually kind of what they're following. Again, these people are idiots. They're idiots, and I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you right now. That was what was in one of those Western states. 3 teachers, they go back. All 3 get coronavirus. One of them is dead. These are teachers. When we start talking about teachers, administrators, janitors, support staff, secretary, and children, and if you do not have rigorous protocols in place when it comes to not just testing. Somebody asked the question a week ago on the show. What happens if a teacher falls sick in the classroom? What do? Do we send a substitute? Do we quarantine the whole class? What do? See, all these different things. And so I'm telling you right now, these people, it's going to happen. You're going to see, I'm going to predict it now. You're going to see massive outbreaks of coronavirus in schools. And you know what they're going to do? The exact same thing those fools did in Florida. They reopened the bars. All these folks went to the bars, got drunk. They had to shut them all down because coronavirus spiked. That's what's going to happen. But we got the so-called smart people, the Ron DeSantis of the world and Mike Pence and Donald Trump, who they rather trash Dr. Fauci and trash the executive. All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Ceek is a Black-owned company founded by Mary Spiel, a sister from Ghana. She is, of course, the inventor of these 2 devices here. One of them is a virtual reality headset, which basically allows for you to pop your phone, your Android or your Apple phone, right into here, and allows you to see the content on their website, Ceek.com, in virtual reality. You also can look at other videos on YouTube that are 360-degree videos. And so this headset is available on the website. Also, their headphones, these 360-degree 4D headphones right here, which also comes with the wired cable, also microphone jack as well. You got Bluetooth. You can use this for gaming if you want to, music, videos, you name it. Fantastic sound as well. A sister, she sent me a tweet. She said, why didn't I tell her about the bass in these headphones? Because she said that she has a bass head in her house. And so her son decided to grab her headphones. I said, no, boo, tell your son to go buy his own. If you want to get these products, again, supporting Black-owned businesses that support this show, go to Ceek.com. Use this promo code RM. You see it right here, RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. And so when you buy their products, you also are supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered. So we certainly appreciate that with the folks at Ceek.com, Ceek.com.